Hi guys, we've made it to the video that I look forward to all year long. This is the best makeup I tried in 2024. I tried so much good makeup this year, and the way I like to do these videos is not forcing something in every category. In some categories, I may not have found a new favorite this year, and in other categories, I may have found 5 new favorites this year. So these are just the products that ended up being things that at one period of time this year or another, I was using it like almost every day, didn't want to stop using it. Things I feel like defined the year 2024 in my makeup journey. All the products I'm talking about today are going to be listed and linked down below. In case you're doing any last minute Christmas shopping and you're considering any of these items, I am going to have everything down below, along with any discount or affiliate codes I may have with these brands. I'm also creating a shelf on Shop My Shelf of all my favorites of the year. So if you click that link, you can find all these things in one place, all categorized. So I'll link that below as well. But let's go ahead and get started with my first favorite discovery of 2024, which is the CoverGirl Clean Invisible Foundation. They relaunched and re-promoted this foundation this year. This has been in their line for a very long time. It's now fragrance-free. This is the one that used to come in the triangular glass bottle, I believe with the brown lid. I wear the shade Ivory. I'm wearing this today. I think this is a beautiful foundation. I cannot believe the price. It's $7. This has really light coverage. I like applying it either with my fingers or a sponge, sometimes both. It definitely has kind of like tinted moisturizer level coverage. Like imperfections still show through with this, but then I can just go over those areas with a little bit of concealer. And I feel like my skin just looks so healthy and soft when I wear this foundation. I used to wear the old version of this every single day in high school, so it just feels nostalgic. I love that they brought it back, especially now that it's fragrance-free. It does remind me a lot of what I remember of that foundation, and I can see why I liked it so much in high school as well. And back in high school, I had really oily skin, so it worked for my skin then. It works for my skin now that it's more combo leaning dry, so I feel like it's worth a try for $7. I'm sure not everyone would love it, but I just think it's a really solid foundation. I did do a whole dedicated wear test and review of this on my channel earlier this year, so I can link that video below if you want to see that. Earlier this year, I also discovered the NYX Pro Fix Stick. This would be among like my top 3 discoveries of the year. I think I love this concealer. I've been yapping about it all year. I just love it so much. It's everything I was wanting in a color corrector that I was never able to find in other products. It comes in a stick, which at first really deterred me because usually I don't get along well with sticks, you know, like stick concealers or correctors. I find them to be dry, cakey, or at least that's kind of like the reputation they have in my mind. But this is the complete opposite of that. It glides on so smoothly, it's so creamy, and it has the most beautiful matte blurred finish. I love this. The shade Pink is perfect for correcting my dark circles. I really do feel like it helps to cancel out those blue tones in my under eyes. And yeah, I feel like so many under eye correctors are just super dewy, emollient, kind of sticky almost. I don't really like that type of formula on my under eyes at all. I much prefer something matte that's just gonna really smooth and flatten that area. This year I also discovered pink under eye powders, and I found 2 that I am head over heels in love with. The first one I've been using since much earlier this year. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder, which I already loved in light, but this is the shade Light Pink. I won't go on and on about this because I talk about it way too much, but I love this powder. It's the perfect subtle peachy pink color. It's such a slight pink tint that it doesn't look, you know, super bubblegum pink on your under eyes or anything. It's just completely translucent, very blurring, just really perfects the under eye area in a way that a regular translucent powder just doesn't quite do. This one I discovered so recently that it almost feels like I shouldn't be including it in this video because I've only known it for like a month, a little over a month. But in that month, I have fallen so in love with this powder that I think it deserves a spot in this video because this is going to be a favorite for a long time to come. I can already tell. It's the Tower 28 Get Set powder in Palisades Pink. This is another very subtly pink powder, but it does have a really slight pink hint to it, and I just love this for the under eyes. On this eye I have the e.l.f., and on this eye I have the Tower 28, and I think they both look amazing. And if you're a pink powder lover, I don't think you could go wrong with either of these. I guess it really just depends on, do you prefer pressed or loose powder? And obviously the Tower 28 one is a little bit pricier. but I would recommend getting it on sale, which is what I always do. I always wait for sales before I buy from Sephora. I wait for at least 20% off. This is something I purchased from Sephora in the spring. It's the Glossier Cloud Paint in the shade Sail, and this is just the easiest liquid bronzer to work with ever. I've never really loved most liquid bronzers. I just find that they tend to be the hardest type of bronzer to work with. Like, they often will disrupt the foundation underneath. They just are harder to blend. They're just like trickier to work with across the board, but not this one. This is such a breeze to apply. Blends so easily. This shade is perfect for my skin tone. It's like the perfect slightly warm, caramely, bronzy tone. It doesn't have any shimmer to it, and I just think it looks so natural. So this has quickly become one of my top favorite bronzers of all time, and definitely my favorite bronzer that I discovered this year. Another one from e.l.f., and there are 2 more from e.l.f. coming up as well. I've had a lot of great e.l.f. finds this year. This is the Camo Liquid Blush in the shade Peach Perfect. Not only do I love the formula of this, I also love the shade. Like, it's a shade and a formula favorite, which is the best kind of favorite. I have this on today with a little bit of Patrick Ta, not too much, the powder on top of it, just a very small amount of that on top, but I've just got like a warm peachy blush going on. I love that I can apply it straight to my cheek, which is how brands always like tell you to apply these things, but a lot of the time they end up patchy or interrupting the foundation underneath. But this one doesn't do that. It blends so seamlessly and easily, and I just absolutely love this shade so much. It's like my favorite kind of peach color. Perfectly warm, perfectly light. You only need 2 dots of this, maybe 3 if you want a heavier blush look, but it is definitely very pigmented even though it is a super light shade. I am including a few brush favorites today because I think brushes are so important, and I just love when I find a new favorite brush. This one is from a brand that was new to me this year, Kaleidos. This is their blending blush brush B2, and this is the blush brush I have been searching for. This is another thing I haven't had for that long. I think I've had it maybe 2 months out of the year, which is a very short amount of time this year, but this has so quickly become my favorite brush for powder blush. That is so hard to say. It's the perfect size. It has the perfect amount of taper, perfect amount of fluff, but also dense enough to pick up enough blush. And it's just, I just love it. It's everything I've been searching for. Before that, I really loved the BK Beauty 104, and I still do like this one, but the Kaleidos is even better. Like, I haven't really reached for the BK Beauty one since I found this one. It just comes down to the shape, and I love the shape of this brush. I don't really think I've ever had anything quite like this for blush. So Kaleidos just really gets blush. I also really love the Kaleidos Mono Blushes. I guess an honorable mention goes to those. Maybe I should have included those in this video, but it's too late to add anything to the list now. Why not? I'll go ahead and give an honorable mention to the Kaleidos Mono Blushes. I just didn't include these because, I felt like I hadn't had them that long. But I absolutely love these shades. They're so pale. They do come in deeper and like brighter shades as well. These are Angel Wing over here and Pearl Bliss over here, which almost looks like a bronzer. They are so, so nice. I feel like it's so rare to find blushes this pale. If you're wondering what to try from Kaleidos, so far the standout products for me are the blushes and the blush brush. And continuing with cheek products, I discovered a highlighter this year that I love so much. I think it's my top favorite highlighter in my whole collection now. It's the Spark Cosmetics Ethereal Glow Highlighter. This is a new brand. I think the whole brand launched this year. They have this highlighter, bronzers, and blushes. And I've only tried the highlighter so far, but I absolutely love this. It probably looks like nothing on screen right now because it's just a plain white powder in there, but it has the most beautiful, wet, glistening sheen. I'm wearing it today, and I love it because there's no color to this whatsoever, and there's also no base pigment. Its base is totally clear, so it can truly go with any look because it's really only adding shine. It's not adding any color to your look. I just think it's so unique, so versatile. I recently did a video if I could only keep 15 products, and not to spoil the video, but this was the highlighter I chose. The only highlighter I felt like I needed because it really could go with anything. I only chose one palette or eyeshadow product, and it is the Alter Ego Dreamgaze palette, and I chose this specifically because Aside from my ABH Norvina palette, which I've just been trying to like pan this year basically, I reached for this the most of any other palette. This is meant to dupe the Natasha Denona pastel palette, and I have been so into this palette all year. I used it today for this look and created a really like blue, frosty, wintry look. I love this kind of look in the winter. I literally just used this column right here of blues and that white shade, but all throughout the year I've used a mix of all of these shades. I love the lime green, the yellow, the peach, the lavender. My favorite shade is this cornflower blue. That is my favorite color of all time. Like, just across the board, if I had to pick one favorite color, it's that. Is that not the prettiest color you've ever seen? I have a huge dip going in there, and it's funny because I don't even really like the formula of that shade that much. It is that cream formula that I just don't enjoy. It doesn't stop me from using it. I've used it a ton this year and had a lot of fun using it today, even though I don't usually reach for colorful pastel palettes like this in the winter. It was really fun. I also tried Sigma's eye brushes for the first time this year, and previously I didn't have a very positive opinion of Sigma's brushes because I'd only tried their face brushes, which I don't tend to love. I have like one or two that I like from their face brush line, but I find the bristles a little bit like too slippery almost for a face brush. But I actually love that type of bristle, it turns out, in eye brushes because I really fell in love with their eye brushes this year. They have some really great shapes for small targeted crease brushes. I know I said I'm listing like the top 24 items I tried this year, but this counts as one item, just Sigma brushes as a whole. But my 4 favorite Sigma crease brushes are all different sizes, but they're all kind of on the smaller side. The E38 diffused crease, I love this for just a medium-sized crease brush. It's good for getting your look started in the crease, but also if you want a slightly more targeted application. It's so good. So soft and silky. And I do have to say, like, Sigma's ferrules, I've never had a Sigma ferrule come loose. I just find them really high quality. Anyway, so that's the E38. Then I also love the E45 small tapered blending brush. This one almost has a little bit of a point to it. You can see it's a little bit more like densely packed with bristles. This is what I used today to place that light blue shadow in my outer corner. And then for detail blending, the E33 Detail Diffused Crease is so good. This one has slightly longer bristles, definitely has a lot more give, a lot more bend to it because it's not quite as dense as that like really pencil-y brush. This one is just really nice and wispy, great for blending above the crease, blending a transition shade. If you have small eyes or hooded eyes, I think these kinds of small brushes can be really helpful for doing that super detailed work. Then the E42 Precision Firm Blender, I also love this. I actually used it for smudgy eyeliner today, but it's also great for placing in the outer corner and just more targeted crease placement. It's nice and small, it's fluffy. It's kind of like a smaller version of that E38. Anyway, just some really good, really unique shapes. And then I also wanted to mention 2 liner brushes from Sigma. The E15 Flat Definer is one of those square eyeliner brushes. It's just like straight across, and it's super thin and precise. Great for getting right up next to the lash line. And then the E06 Winged Liner. This is so good for winging out eyeliner. I love winging it to use out pencil eyeliners or to use eyeshadow as liner. It's really nice and small and precise. And the thing I like about it is it has longer bristles compared to other angled liner brushes. The bristles are like a little bit longer, so you have like, again, a little bit of give, a little bit of flexibility in those bristles as you glide it across the skin. You can do that really nice flick. And I feel like I always get just a really nice, really sharp wing when I use this. I used it today with another one of my favorites of the year. This is another thing that I haven't had for that long, but I already love it so much. It's the Tower 28 One Liner in the shade Draw Me, which is a nice chocolate brown. I used this as my eyeliner today, and this is my favorite way to do liner, is I kind of will just place the pencil in about the outer half of my eye, and then I take a brush like the Sigma E06 and slowly just flick it out. Sometimes I'll pick up a little bit more straight from the pencil onto the brush to use, but usually I can just kind of use what's already on there. And this does a beautiful job. It's a very nice, movable, smudgeable liner, but it also doesn't budge on me throughout the day. I don't really experience a lot of like eye watering or anything like that. So I don't know if this is necessarily waterproof. I don't think it says that it is, but on me it doesn't smear or smudge or fade or anything. It lasts really well throughout the day. And the other thing I really like about this is that they market this as an all-in-one pencil. So they call it the one liner multi-liner. So you can use it on the eyes, cheeks, and lips, they say. So you could use it as like a blush or maybe like a bronzer contour kind of shade depending on your skin tone. Or you could use it as a lip liner. It's a nice, really like dark chocolate brown lip liner on me, which is really fun to have as an option in a lip liner without having to own a dedicated lip liner for that purpose, because I don't wear dark brown on my lips very often. It gives me a little bit of respect for the brand because they are saying, hey, buy this one thing instead of buying 3 things. I respect them more because it probably would be more profitable for them to just market this as an eyeliner and then something else as a lip liner. But instead they made something that's both eye safe and lip safe and I guess, cheek safe, really useful. I love just like useful, simple products like this. And I can just tell that this is going to be a favorite for a while. And if we're talking about the Tower 28 one liner, we also have to talk about the Fenty Fly Liner, which I bought at the same time. So again, I've only had this one for like a month as well, but I love this liner. So this is a brown liquid eyeliner. It has a really nice sharp felt tip. And if you struggle to find brown eyeliners that are actually noticeably brown, this might be a good one to check out. Yes, it is pricier being from Fenty, but for me, liquid eyeliners last so long. Like, I end up using them way past how long you're supposed to use them because they just keep going and going. Obviously, I haven't had this one that long, so I can't say that for sure will be the case with this one, but I have a feeling that this will last me a while. So I feel like it was worth it for me. And of course, I also got a discount on it. But I would say the shade is definitely kind of a more reddish brown. Like, it has a warmer undertone. So if you don't like warm tones on yourself, you may not love the shade of this, but I love it. I love how brown it looks. Those are both so good. I'm really happy with both of those purchases. I also tried a setting spray this year that really blew me away. Unfortunately, it's expensive. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is incredible to me because it does not contain denatured alcohol, which I used to think that setting sprays had to have denatured alcohol if they were going to do anything as far as extending the wear time of your makeup. But this somehow does not contain denatured alcohol, but it still keeps your makeup on longer and keeps it looking nice and fresh longer than if you didn't wear this. It does have that slightly tight feeling to it that some setting sprays give, but that doesn't bother me. If you are bothered by that feeling though, this does do that. But yeah, it's just amazing to me. It gives just like a little bit of a natural glow to the face. So lovely. I think it's worth the price. At least at a discount, it's worth the price. And like halfway through this mini, I will definitely purchase a full size when this runs out. So many good products this year, I'm telling you. The e.l.f. Lash Extender I also discovered this year. I know not all of these things came out this year, by the way. These are just things I tried this year. The e.l.f. Lash Extender in brown. Okay, first of all, I did run into a little bit of a pickle with this because the stopper kept getting stuck in the lid when I would unscrew it. And so it was coming out with no stopper. So obviously the brush would just be totally gooped up with mascara. And what was happening was, I think a lot of mascara had dried up and gotten into the inside of the lid, and then the stopper was getting stuck there when I would unscrew it. So I cleaned it out as best I could, and it seems to be fixed now. But anyway, that was kind of weird. That's never happened to me before with a mascara. Has that happened to anyone else with this one? This is so good. I also really got into brown mascara this year. I've loved brown liner for a long time, but brown mascara I love. I wear it more often than black mascara these days, which I never thought I would say. And this is a tubing mascara. It's really the mascara that made me fall in love with tubing mascaras, and I will never go back to non-tubing now. The best thing about this is that it doesn't budge, it doesn't flake or smudge on me, but it's also really easy to remove at the end of the night. I also love the way it makes my lashes look. It's very lengthening. I love this type of brush. It's a molded brush with really short silicone bristles that just do a great job of grabbing in between each lash. Just a really beautiful, fluttery, lengthened look. It's not going to be the most dramatic lash look ever, but that's also just not what I'm going for when I'm wearing a brown mascara. I just think it looks so beautiful on the lashes, and this brown is not nearly as like intensely brown as the Fenty Flyliner in Big Truffle. This is more of like a dark chocolate brown. To me, I can tell that it's brown in my lashes, but it's not like someone's going to look at you and immediately notice that you're wearing brown mascara, if that's what you're going for. If you want people to like look at you and be like, oh, wow, that mascara is super brown. They're not going to notice it's brown with this one, but it does have the effect of a brown mascara in that it's just a little bit softer looking than a jet black mascara. We've gotten to the lip category. I found a lot of lip favorites this year. First up is a lip liner. It's the Jones Road, the lip pencil in the shade Mauve. I also have the shade Nudist, and I love that one. That one's a little bit more brown. Mauve is like a perfect match for my lip color, and so it's just perfect for outlining the lips, creating a nice even line. If I want to slightly overline, it's perfect because again, it matches my natural lip color. I like to wear this on its own or with any lip product on top of it. It is so soft. I am so into these wooden lip pencils these days. I just love the really like blurred, blended effect that you get with them. It's not going to be the most long wearing lip pencil, but that's okay with me because the look of it is just perfect. Like it's so smoothing and blurring to the lips. I love it. I can't get enough. So really happy to have discovered that this year. And along with that, I also tried the Jones Road, the lip tint in Nude Mauve, which I'm wearing today alongside the lip pencil in Mauve. This is, again, like a perfect match for my natural lip color almost. And this is just the definition of a comfortable, hydrating lip tint. Like it has a beautiful amount of pigment that the more layers of this you put on, the more the pigment intensifies. So I love how customizable it is in that way. But it just feels as lightweight as a chapstick or something. Just so comfortable. I've kind of gotten away from using this recently just because I've been using other things, but there was a period of time this year where I couldn't stop using this. And now that I've used it again today, I think I'm going to be using it a lot more because I think it's such a pretty nude shade, especially for the winter. I tried this at the very end of last year, but I'm including it in this year's favorites because it was so close to the end of 2023 that I really ended up using it the most, obviously, in 2024. This is the Revie Beauty Effortless Lips in the shade Lily. This is another tinted lip balm, and it's very similar, actually, to the one I'm wearing right now, just like the slightest bit more peachy, a little bit warmer toned, but this is so beautiful, and it's honestly the formula I find very similar to the Jones Road. They both have the same kind of amount of shine. They both have about the same weight and thickness to them. They have a very similar feel and amount of pigment. I also really love how small and thin this tube is though compared to most lipsticks because I can be really precise with it. Even though both of these are really similar, I had to include both because I just love tinted lip balms. This next product is a lipstick that actually really feels to me more like a tinted lip balm, and it's from the brand Estate Cosmetics, which I think is a really underrated brand for the most part. Like, you just don't hear much about them, but this lipstick line they launched, I think earlier this year, it's the Cream of the Cream lipstick in the shade Fluffy. And first of all, this has the most lovely, like, kind of coconutty scent to it. And I love the shade of this. It's a very light but very warm caramely nude shade. Kind of like a toned down version of the e.l.f. O Face satin lipstick in No Doubt. It really doesn't feel that different from those two tinted lip balms I was talking about. Very lightweight, comfortable, moisturizing, not fully opaque on the first swipe, but you can build it up to get more intense color payoff. Really happy with that discovery. I think Estate is a very underrated brand. I also love their baked highlighter. So good. The last lip product I really fell in love with this summer, it's the e.l.f. Sun Boss Gloss SPF 25 in the shade Blush Much. This was, spoiler, the winner of my 2024 SPF lip product showdown. This was the winner. I just think this is such a great SPF product. It is a mineral SPF, so it doesn't have that awful chemical sunscreen taste. I cannot stand that taste in products. This doesn't have that at all. It literally just feels like a regular lip gloss. You wouldn't even know that it has SPF in it if it didn't say. This is the only shade I've tried, so I'm not sure how the other shades are, but I love this just light nude pink color. It's just perfect for every day, goes with anything, and I love it. So if you're looking for a good SPF lip product that has a pigment to it, definitely recommend these e.l.f. ones. Obviously, it wouldn't be my end of year favorites video if I didn't include some favorite sunscreens from the year. This year, my favorite sunscreen that won my SPF showdown was the Isntree Onion Fresh Fluid Sun Cream. I'm wearing this again today. It's actually been a while since I've reached for this just because I've been trying to use up a lot of my older sunscreens. But I reached for this again today and I was reminded how amazing it is. It is so lightweight, it really is a fluid, blends in immediately, and it really makes such a great primer for makeup too, because it has like a little bit of a velvety sort of feel as it goes on the skin, but it's also very moisturizing, but it's also not heavy or greasy. And of course there's no white cast either. I don't experience any burning of my eyes with this. And the other two I don't have with me because I and Nathan already used them up, but first was the Higgy Vegan Sun Cream. This was another great one under makeup. Again, it almost had a priming ability to it. It was like the tiniest bit tacky, so it would really grip onto makeup well. Didn't look heavy or dry under makeup at all. And I also had to mention the Benton Air Fit UV Defense Sun Cream. This one I loved, Nathan also loved. This is his favorite sunscreen of all time now. It's not the slightest bit heavy, but still feels very moisturizing, and it really is kind of like a gel cream. Like it just sinks in right away. So good. The last two products are both skincare related, and I wanted to mention these because these two things I really feel like stood out. I didn't try that many new skincare products this year that became like new staples, but these two definitely did. First up is the Equate Beauty Hydrating Cleanser. This is a dupe for the CeraVe cleanser. It actually even says compare to CeraVe Hydrating Cleanser. The ingredients of this one are very similar to the CeraVe. They're not exactly the same. I think they're like a little bit out of order, but I have tried both and I definitely think this one is just as good as the CeraVe for like half the price. This one's actually almost empty. It's already the second bottle of this that we've gone through, so I'm gonna have to repurchase it again, but it is so affordable. It's like less than $7 and it just doesn't get any more cost effective than that. It's also so gentle and hydrating. This time of year I have really sensitive, dry skin, and it's just essential for me to have a super basic, plain cleanser like this that isn't going to upset my skin. So absolutely love this. Earlier this year I also tried the Prequel Cleanser, and I almost included that one, but I actually discovered this one after that one, and it kind of replaced that one because I came to find that the Prequel one, yes, it is pretty cost effective, but not nearly as cost effective as this one. So that's really what it comes down to, is just that this one's more affordable and I like it just as much. So yeah, I had to mention that because I feel like no one really ever talks about this Equate skincare brand, but they might have some gems. I might have to try more from their line. And the very last thing is a body skincare favorite. I cannot believe how good this is. This is from Coco Kind, and it's their retinol body cream. It has 0.05% retinol with ceramide, and this, you might notice this is kind of an interesting squeeze tube. The cap is like way smaller, like it almost looks like it's missing or something, but they actually just created a cap that uses much less plastic than normal, which I think is really cool, and it doesn't really take away from the experience of using it at all. It just has this little flap. It comes out like that, and then you close it. I think it's really nifty. And the cream itself is really nice. I find that a lot of retinol body creams don't blend in easily. Like it takes forever to work them into your skin, just because I guess retinol is not the easiest to formulate like a really elegant lotion that sinks in right away. But this one is the best one I have tried. I like it better than the Versed retinol one. I like it better than the Advanced Clinicals, I think it was. I like it better than that one as well. It's very lightweight. It really sinks in just as fast as a non-retinol body lotion. So I love it. It doesn't have any sort of fragrance to it. I use this about once or twice a week, and I definitely notice a difference when I'm incorporating a retinol body lotion in just the overall smoothness of my skin, how even it is. Highly recommend for a good, like, semi-affordable retinol body lotion. I've also never had any dryness or irritation from this. Obviously I don't use it every day. I don't know if I'd recommend that unless you like work your way up to that, but I love it for just a twice a week body treatment. It's so good. And that wraps up my top 24 of 2024. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you would like to go a step further in supporting my channel, I do have a Patreon and a channel membership where I upload extra content, so I'd love to see you over there as well. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll talk to you very soon in my next video. Bye!